Okay, good morning and welcome to 180 Degree Time Management webinar. We're posting from our group this morning, the Gift of Time Management Lab. And I'm on this morning with the very, very lovely Anna Scheller. Anna is a mother of 7. Yes, you heard me right. She is the mother of 7 children and a businesswoman. She is also a client of 180 Degree Time Management and a member of this group. Anna is the owner of Capri Temporary Housing. She also does a podcast called Black Belt Selling, and she does corporate sales training. So Anna is what you would say a busy woman. And we've done some work together. So Anna, thank you so much for taking time out of your really, really busy schedule to join us today on this Facebook Live coming from our group.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. That's really, really great. And I always love these because I've just started doing them. I've done about 3 now, and it's really interesting to hear what you guys have to say about what we've been through, you know, the journey that we took together. What was your time management like, and what is it like now, and what you've learned along the way. So without further ado, we're going to kind of jump right into this morning. And I wanted to start off by asking you, what was your life like and your relationship to time before we met and before you took 180 Degree Time Management?
That's kind of, I mean, it seems like it was so long ago, almost like trying to think of another life that I had.
Yeah.
The image that comes to mind, there's 2 images that come to mind. One is a hamster on a wheel, just constantly running, and not getting anywhere. Mm-hmm. Just feeling like I was not accomplishing anything. Mm-hmm. The other one is a person in a hurricane out in the water, just constantly being washed over by the waves and being pulled under. Oh, wow. And really feeling like I was drowning. And because I have these goals, I've been in business for 15 years now, and I was not where I wanted to be. I knew that managing my time was important, mm-hmm. but it was, I was always trying to throw, stuff into my day more than I could possibly accomplish. Mm. And I wasn't learning how, I wasn't comfortable delegating. I kind of felt like if it had to be done, it all had to be done by me. Accomplish. And I wasn't learning how, I wasn't comfortable delegating. I kind of felt like if it had to be done, it all had to be done by me. Accomplish.
My apologies. It started again. I got it. I caught it. So if you could continue, my apologies.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I just didn't want I didn't want to confuse anybody listening.
Right.
So it was really, it's something I knew I needed to do, something I thought I was relatively good at. Mm. We do live with these illusions. I was probably better at it than most people because juggling my family and juggling a business and juggling my my charitable work. And by the way, having free time. I didn't have. Right. I did not have free time. What I found is that I was so tired and I was so driven that what I would do is in the midst of a productive day, I would just figure I owed myself some time to relax and be myself. And so what I would do is I would take time out of the busiest time of my day to reward myself, because I really did not have I really did not have a purpose, and I was trying to do so much that I figured I had to squeeze that in too. When I just got tired, I couldn't push anymore because I couldn't see the end of my work at the end of the day.
Wow, that's a lot. Those are some heavy, heavy costs to not do, to not have your time management in order. And with everything that you were trying to do at the same time. Wow. So thank you for being really, really candid about that. If you were to go back through what you just said and share with us, what was the biggest cost would you say? If you had to, put your finger on the one thing that, was the biggest cost, what would you say that was?
I would say it was my well-being.
Okay.
Yeah. Because when you're living with that kind of I don't know, stress.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like you're ever getting ahead.
Yeah.
It begins to take a toll on you. So I remember one time I was, when I started working with you, I was working with somebody else in my business, and there were a lot of stressors involved. And so in the middle of all that, my daughter had to have emergency surgery. So I had to leave up to Seattle to help take care of her. And I just remember there was one point where everything I had been working for seemed to be falling apart. And it was directly, I'm up there. I can't do anything in my business. I've got my daughter who needs me.
Right.
The people I'm relying on are not functioning as a team. I just, at that point, I felt like a total failure, and it was very difficult. Later in the year, I ended up actually, right before my daughter's wedding, I got bronchitis. So I'm trying to recover from bronchitis and trying to get ready for my daughter's wedding. So I believe all of those were a function, because the money was a big issue, but really it was the toll on my health and my ability to really be present for the people that I cared for the most, which is my family. Exactly.
That is so cool. That was really, really well said, because, being entrepreneurs, being businesswomen, it's us. We're it, right? And if you're stressed out to the point that you got stressed out, and a lot of us get stressed out, and your health suffers, then you can't run your business. And then it becomes a vicious circle, because if you can't run your business, then you can't make your money. If you can't make your money, then you're stressed about your money, right? You're stressed about your bills, and you're stressed about, payroll, and you're stressed about, getting everything done that needs to be done, in your company. And what was that big project that I was working on? Oh my God, what am I going to do? So that was really, really well spoken and well said, and I really appreciate that, being so candid about that. What would you say? I think you've kind of already described it, and you can just say yes if it already has been described. But what was, your worst case scenario before you took 180-degree time management? Was it that scenario that you just described of, having an emergency and having to, choose between work and then having it impact your health? Would you say that there was that one, or can you think of one even worse?
Well, there have been several crises along the way. That one probably epitomizes the biggest one, because not only did I have this situation at work, I had a situation with my family. I had no income coming in. And so it really was, Tanya, I don't get angry often. I'm actually a pretty patient, understanding person. And I don't say that to pat myself on the back. I really believe that you have to take a step back, keep a cool head to get to a solution. Right. But in that moment, I remember being furious. I was absolutely angry, and I had nowhere to go because I couldn't take it out on my daughter. Right. My daughter was sick. Well, she wasn't sick, but she was recovering from this emergency surgery. Right. My husband was, I love him to pieces, but he wasn't understanding. He was already blaming me for the problems in the business. So he wasn't one that I could turn to get, some feedback. I really had nowhere to go and no one to blame but myself. And then blaming myself wasn't even helpful. Right. And it was a function of not investing the time in what was going to be effective for everybody. So, see, I see time management now as time investment. I love that. I'm leveraging a certain amount of time. And maybe this kind of jumps us ahead a little bit. Fine. But what happens is, if I don't spend the time planning, what I end up with is I'm at the end of the day going, oh my gosh, I didn't get anything done I thought I was going to need to do.
Right.
And then there's this feeling of, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. But then what happens is that I'm feeding this habit of, oh, but I have already all this stuff to do tomorrow. Right. I'm just going to squeeze that in at the end of the day. And what happens is the day gets longer and longer and longer. Before I know it, it's 9 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I'm too tired to get to the things that are important.
Right.
Because I've been busy doing other things all day because right. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan for self-care. Mm-hmm. That was a big deal for me. That we worked through is putting self-care in there, because I didn't feel like if I didn't get these other things, I didn't deserve time for myself.
Wow. Oh yeah. Yeah. And yeah, go ahead.
No, I just think I'm not alone. I think there are other people out there that struggle with the same thing. And the thing is we are worthy to make time for ourselves. As a matter of fact, if we don't invest time in ourselves, mm-hmm. in the planning, but also in what I call the white space. You and I talked about the white space.
Yeah.
If I don't invest that time, then I'm not going to be able to serve and help the people that I care about.
Absolutely.
And that's my family, that's my employees, that's the customers. I mean, even the customers, they can be very demanding, and they can be very, and when I've learned to set boundaries around myself, which I'm still learning, mm-hmm. It helps them to know that I'm a person to be respected. But it starts with respecting myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Really, really well said. Thank you. Well, I think you kind of covered it already, but let me just ask you the question. What had you say yes to 180 degree time management?
I was such a mess.
Okay, that's the short answer. I'll take that one. I understand. Yeah. And what makes this product unique and sustainable? Because we worked together over a year ago now, mm-hmm. And we have we've spoken since then. You've kept in touch. You've joined the group. You've posted. You've had me on interviews. And we've been keeping in touch. So I wanted to ask you, with your time management now, what made this product, or what makes this product unique and sustainable?
I think it's the sacred scheduling. Mm-hmm. It's setting aside the time to schedule. I think one of the biggest challenges I remember, and I don't remember if I gave you pushback on this, but I know on the inside I gave you pushback.
Yeah.
And I remember you said, okay, I want you to plan out 2 months. And I'm like, you gotta be crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna plan 2 months out.
Right.
But you just, you were gentle but persistent, and all of a sudden I started to see the value of that. And then in the sacred scheduling time, which we had to play around with it, because I remember I was trying to do it on Fridays, but by Fridays I was really tired and I really didn't want to be making any plans. Saturdays I had reserved for other things, and so I had to learn where it was going to fit in my routine.
Right.
We finally settled on Mondays, but it really helps me to see, okay, what is the big picture? And then what ended up happening, Tanya, is from that, then I began to communicate better with my family.
Wow.
And suddenly they felt included in my life. And Luce, my assistant, she, now knows what, more or less, I'm still a little bit of a wildfire, but she knows what to expect. She knows that, she can look at my schedule and get a feel for what's going on. If I'm not in the office, then it's in my schedule usually why I'm not in the office. Uh-huh. And so it's just become a tool for other people to feel like I'm not isolating myself from them, and they're part of what's going on. And as a matter of fact, recently, I need to make a trip to San Diego And I realized I hadn't told my husband about it. And I was looking at the schedule, and I was actually looking at my sacred schedule going, boy, I thought I could go this week, but I don't think that's going to work because I've got this commitment and now I've got that commitment. So now, I'm looking at where I'm going to be able to fit this trip in. And so I told my husband, I said, yeah, I'm going to go to San Diego. He said, when? And I said, well, these are the times I'm looking at. And he said, well, I think you're gone. You're always gone. And I said, well, babe, one, I'm not always gone.
Right.
But two, aren't you glad that I'm telling you now instead of waiting until the day before I get on the plane?
That's a good one.
And just learning to have the longer perspective. I think a big key for me has been that just to see it as an investment. See, before it was a cost. The cost of time. Now it's an investment. I'm investing in myself. I'm investing in my family. I'm investing in the people who are important to me. And this is my gift to not just me. It's my gift to them. It's the gift of time management.
Isn't that awesome? I love it. Thank you so much. That's really, really great. Yeah. I thought you did there. That's really beautiful. Okay. I know that a lot of people, they ask me, what's the difference between 180-degree time management and other tools? And I know you have tried other time management tools and or programs. So, can you give just a little bit of feedback on what makes this different and how come you've been able to stick to this, whereas the other ones, by the time you had gotten to me, the other ones had kind of gone by the wayside?
Well, just two things. One is that when we did when we would have our times together, the Hopstop thoughts,
right?
Those really kind of help you to evaluate why you're not wanting to move forward with a schedule, not why you're, and schedule can seem really confining, but really it's you're looking at it to create freedom. So when you have times where you're going to dedicate to specific activities, then you have freedom to move forward because you're already thinking forward. So the Hopstop thoughts are powerful because they help me bring an awareness to why I'm making the choices I'm making and how I can make different choices.
Great.
And the other one is to call the schedule sacred. It is a sacred time. It is an important time. It's a valuable ritual to help me gain control of the things in my life and to stay on track with my goals and dreams. So yeah, I think it's understanding and becoming aware of why I'm not moving forward or how to move forward. And then the other one is to really treat it as something sacred. Right.
And of course, the fire engine decides it's going to make its visit right now while we're doing this. Okay. But yeah, what are you going to do? We were lucky so far, but thank you for that. Mentioning those two, very significant parts of the program, which are the sacred schedule. Now, just a little bit about sacred schedule, if you don't mind. A lot of people, they ask me, who's it sacred to, right? And I say it's sacred to you because it allows you to be in control of your time. And this is for the people, especially, and I know as a mother of 7, this is one of the things that we talked about, which was saying yes to everybody else's needs and putting yourself last. And would you say that that's the same thing with the sacred schedule? All of a sudden you get to be, important. You get to put you and your schedule first and then be able to then have time and space for your family.
Yes. Because to say, one of the things I'm constantly I'm becoming more and more aware of is how to say no to other things so I can say yes to myself.
I love that. Great.
And the schedule, the sacred schedule really helps me to see where I need to say no. and where I can say yes. And, I still find myself sometimes as a hamster on a wheel. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
But it's valuable in that it's not something that's static, it's dynamic.
Very good.
So even if I have it scheduled at the beginning of the week, my sacred schedule time is Monday mornings. Even with that, I still have, if something comes up in the middle of the week, because I can see and I can plan and I can predict, I can make allowances and I can still stay in communication with people who are important. So if I have to move an appointment,
right,
or, because it's not set in stone. It's there to be a tool for freedom, not an anchor to weigh you down.
Awesome. A tool for freedom. I love that. Thank you. That should be my new tagline, 180-degree time management, a tool for freedom. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not too bad. Okay. So got to capture that while I'm thinking about it. A tool for freedom. Oh man. Thanks. So we're going to start to wrap up now. And I just wanted to ask you if you could summarize I think you've kind of already done it, but the best 3 results that you got out of doing the program with me and continuing on in the group, in the time management, the group of the gift of time management group. What are your best 3 results?
Well, one is becoming aware and just continuing the process of mindfulness when it comes to how I invest my time.
Great.
That's probably the biggest one. Of course, the other one, it now means that because I'm becoming more mindful and more conscious of time choices and time investment, I now actually have more time to spend with the people who are important to me, my husband, my children. For example, I was looking, I have 2 sons that are going, one's in college, not very far away from here, and my other son is doing some training in that same town, and then he's getting ready to go back to Florida where he lives. And so I thought, I looked at my schedule, and I thought, it'd be grand to spend some time with my 2 boys before my son heads back to Florida. Right. So I contacted them, made sure that they were free. And so I've cleared my schedule on Monday to where I'm going to leave here in the afternoon. I'm going to go spend the evening with my sons. And free. I don't, and I can plan for it. Right. So if there's stuff that's going on, I'll be able to give the proper preparation to my assistant, who will be able to handle everything for those few hours that I'm going to be unavailable. Because I'm going to make myself unavailable. I'm not going to be available to my customers. I'm not going to be available to my business. It's equipped to handle anything that can come up. And that's, I can plan it. I can actually enjoy my time. I can plan the finances for the gas to go there, to take them out to a really nice dinner. The planning gives freedom.
Oh, I love that.
So I guess make results 2 and 3 freedom.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, I get that.
It's freedom and sleep. I can sleep at night.
Yay! Oh, I love that. Oh, please say a little bit more about that, because that's a big thing for most of the people that contact me. They're not sleeping through the night, or they're not sleeping at all. They're really, really stressed out. They've got those moments, at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, oh crap, I didn't finish that deadline, and oh, did I send out that email? And oh, did I answer that, proposal? And, what's it like to be able to go click, turn off the light, and you're out?
Well, it is quite refreshing.
Right.
It's very energizing. I've come to terms. So when I say this, understand that I still have the 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh my gosh, what did I forget? I don't know that those will ever go away as long as I'm in business, or I have 7 children, or when I get grandchildren, or whatever. As long as I'm breathing, there are going to be those days.
Right.
But they are not as frequent. And, the other thing about time management, time investment, is you realize in the middle of the night, what are you going to do?
That's it.
You're not going to do anything.
That's
what
it.
you can do is if it's really bothering you, sometimes I've gotten up and I've done some things to try to quiet my mind, or I just start gratitude because there's nothing's going to change at 3 a.m.
Very good.
But something can change in the morning, and I can look at the schedule and I can go, okay, I don't have anything going on between 2 and 4. I'll contact my vendor, I'll contact my client, and I'll say, you know what? I'm just going to be honest with you. I had some other priorities come up, and it's not that you're not important. I'm going to dedicate time this afternoon just to this project.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get that to you by the end of the day? Or, so you can actually, people are very flexible, and most people are very understanding, because you know what? We're on the same boat.
Exactly.
So scheduling, planning, it helps you to rest. And sometimes you're not woken up because you actually have forgotten something. It's just that whatever it is, your subconscious or something wakes you up because a thought triggered a fear. And with that, you can sit up and say, oh no, that's planned. I'll go back to sleep.
Very good. Very good. I love that. You summarized everything that I ever talk about those 3 a.m. wake ups. You administered the worry test, which is, can I do anything about it at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is the normal, 99.9% of the time, the answer is no. And then, getting out your sacred schedule so you can go back to sleep, and scheduling that time for that next day, and then being in communication. I don't know how many times I've told people you can always get an extension of a deadline if you're in communication with them, because that's when people get flexible. If people get inflexible and rigid when you're not in communication and you're just ignoring the fact that you gave your word to something and you're not doing it, right? So,
exactly.
Yeah. Anna, this has been absolutely wonderful. First of all, it's really, really good to see you again. And thank you so much for taking this time out of your really busy schedule to have this conversation with us. You have, I know there's going to be so much value for people in our group and wherever we get to share this Facebook Live with other people in the general public about time management. And I just want to wish you a wonderful dinner with your son. That's so wonderful that you're taking time out, to go, and that you actually have the opportunity now to schedule yourself some time to be with your beautiful boys and take them out to a lovely dinner. So thank you again. Have a wonderful time. And I am going to end this meeting, and I will see you soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, take care.